Mike Reynolds and his family were suddenly barred from accessing their own lake cabin by the HOA, who claimed control over the shoreline that legally belonged to them. Helen Cartwright, the ruthless HOA chairwoman, coldly enforced these false rules, tearing the family apart and fueling a deep sense of injustice. But Mike's discovery of the hidden truth and the support he rallied from neighbors turned the tide in a shocking twist. Just wait until you hear how justice was restored and why this fight for what's right ended with a powerful victory. The Reynolds family had been looking forward to this weekend for months. Mike, his wife Emily, and their 2 kids packed up the car, excited to escape the city noise and spend some peaceful time at their lake cabin in Michigan, a place filled with memories and family traditions. It was their sanctuary, their special retreat where summers felt endless and worries melted away. But as they turned onto the quiet, tree-lined road leading to their cabin, their excitement quickly turned to confusion. There, stretched across the narrow entrance, were heavy metal barricades and a couple of stern-faced security guards standing watch. The familiar welcome sign was nowhere to be seen. Instead, a cold, official-looking notice was posted, warning that access was strictly prohibited without permission from the HOA. Mike pulled the car to a stop and stepped out, hoping for some explanation. He showed his ID, proof of ownership, and the property tax statements he'd kept for years. But the HOA chairwoman, Helen Cartwright, appeared nearby and spoke firmly without any hint of sympathy. "I'm sorry, Mr. Reynolds, but you don't have the right to enter this area right now. The association's rules must be followed," Helen said, her voice clear and unwavering. Mike felt a sudden wave of disbelief. How could this be? He and his family had legally owned the cabin for decades. They'd never missed a payment, never caused trouble. Yet here they were being turned away from their own property. His heart sank as the security guards gently but firmly refused to move the barricades. Emily held the kids close, sharing his stunned silence. The place they'd called home away from home suddenly felt locked away, like strangers were guarding a secret Mike didn't understand. Mike refused to accept Helen's cold refusal. He tried reasoning with her, explaining again and again that the shoreline, the very heart of their cabin's charm, belonged to his family. But Helen was unyielding, repeating the same false claim that the HOA controlled the entire shoreline and had the authority to deny access. Each time Mike heard those words, a fire grew inside him. It wasn't just about land or property anymore. It was about justice and dignity. He saw his children pressed against the barricades, their faces filled with confusion and tears. His little daughter, Lucy, clung to Emily's hand, asking why they couldn't go to the lake like they always did. Watching his family hurt over something so unjust filled Mike with a deep, burning hatred. Not blind rage, but a fierce determination. How could an organization steal what was rightfully theirs? How could people in power use rules to silence and exclude? Emily's eyes flashed with anger too. She had stood by Mike through thick and thin, and now she was ready to fight just as hard. "We're not letting this go," she said quietly, her voice steady but fierce. Together, Mike and Emily made a silent pact. They wouldn't be pushed out or silenced. Their family deserved their home, their memories, and their shoreline. And they would fight to reclaim it. Mike couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Determined to uncover the full truth, he hired a lawyer to dig through decades of property records and HOA documents. What they found shocked him to his core. The Reynolds family legally owned the entire shoreline. every inch of it. But the HOA had deliberately concealed this fact, using vague language and confusing regulations to claim control. They had been blocking Mike's family access all along to maintain their grip on the community, no matter the cost. Fury surged through Mike like never before. This wasn't just bureaucracy or a misunderstanding. It was a calculated effort to steal what belonged to his family. The betrayal cut deep. Armed with the truth, Mike confronted Helen. He spoke firmly, his voice steady but charged with the weight of injustice. Helen's facade cracked under the pressure, but she refused to back down easily. Mike knew he wasn't alone. Many neighbors had whispered their frustrations, tired of the HOA's overreach and secrecy. Gathering their support, Mike began rallying the community, determined to stand together against the unfair control that had ruled their homes for too long. The fight wasn't easy. Legal battles stretched on for months, with tense meetings, heated debates, and endless paperwork. But the unwavering support of Mike's family and the community proved stronger than the HOA's resistance. Slowly but surely, the truth could no longer be ignored. One bright morning, the barricades that had kept the Reynolds family locked out came down. The heavy metal barriers were removed, and the familiar path to their lake cabin reopened. Mike drove through the gate with a sense of relief that was almost overwhelming. He watched as Emily and the kids ran toward the shoreline, their laughter filling the air like it used to. Lucy's smile was radiant, and for the first time in months, nice. The cabin felt whole again. The sun glittered off the water, a shining reminder that their home and their rights had been defended. Mike felt a deep, satisfying victory, not just for himself, but for every family who deserved to enjoy their own land without fear or restriction. Justice had been restored, and with it, a renewed hope that standing up for what's right truly makes a difference.